What's up? I'm Simone.
And I'm Sierra, and this is Up on Game. And today's topic is expectations versus reality. And we're going to talk about that from the standpoint of somebody transitioning from high school to college. So we're going to talk about some of our experiences and some of our expectations going into college and how they aligned with our reality or how they were different from our reality. We're going to focus on 4 topics today. We're going to focus on the cultural aspect. We're going to focus on school/academics. And the third one is the social life. And the fourth is athletics. Okay, so those are the 4 topics we're going to focus on today.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start off with topic number 1, which is cultural. So from my standpoint, I went to kind of a small town in Michigan where everything revolved around Michigan. So it was very, very different from LA. And going in, I didn't expect that. I knew school would be different, but I wasn't expecting to have the experience that I had. So for example, when I first got off the plane to Michigan, I had my Michigan, sweater on or whatever, and I got off the plane and people were, talking to me like they knew me and welcoming me with open arms.
That's
like
that hometown.
Right.
Hometown feel.
Right. Like they've known me forever. And just when we went out to eat to like Applebee's, it was, pictures of different athletes in Applebee's. When we went to the mall, it was pictures of different people hanging up. Like the whole town, it was rooting for Michigan. And that's very, very different from LA. Like, we're not trying to down LA people and say they're not nice, they're not welcoming. It's just different because a lot of stuff is going on in LA.
Yeah, like you got the teams, the attractions. It's just too much.
It's no one sport that LA focuses on because there's so many. We have NFL teams, college teams, all NBA, WNBA, soccer, everything. There's a lot going on. And it's such fast-paced city. It's different when you go to a town that just focuses on your school and everybody's rooting for you. Yeah. So I think that was one thing that was very, very different than what I expected.
Mm-hmm.
And another was the weather. Like going to Michigan, obviously.
Oh my goodness, that weather's horrible.
Right. You obviously think like it's gonna be cold, it's gonna snow, and being from LA, you never experienced that. We've never seen snow or anything.
Or had
like
wind chill.
Right. So going there and experiencing snow for the first time, getting to see the 4 different seasons, like actually seeing leaves change colors, leaves fall off the trees, and just the whole 4 seasons that we don't experience here because we get, it's hot. It's really hot or it's warm or it's raining. We don't really get to see the full seasons, and sometimes we take that for granted.
Yeah.
Because or sometimes we don't even think about it because we don't. That's not something we experience. So those are just some of the things that I experienced culturally going to Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
So do you have anything to add? Because you went out of state as well.
Yes. My first year I went to Lane Community College in Eugene, Oregon. And the weather was like the big culture thing because it rained from September all the way to June.
Right.
And like it wasn't like you couldn't get no regular raincoat. You had to get like a Pacific North Face. You had to get a North Face coat. And those are, if y'all know, them coats is expensive.
Facts.
Super expensive.
Facts.
But worth it.
Right. So now that wraps up the cultural aspect. So now we're going to move to number 2,
school,
which is school and academics. And Simone's going to start off talking about her experience coming in with school. What were her expectations and how they align with the reality or how they were different from the reality?
Okay, so my expectations going in to college was that there was going to be a lot of big classes. You wasn't going to have a good rapport with your teacher or like relationship because it was so many students. But my reality, it was like that for a few classes, but most of my classes were really intimate in a sense where it's like I had a good rapport with the teacher as far as like able to go in the office hours and communicating. And I didn't feel like I was like a big fish in a small pond or vice versa.
You didn't feel like just a number. Like
you wasn't a number. Like you was actually a student and like my professors cared. And I enjoyed that. Like, because you're going to have like your general education classes where you had your 250 students and you're in the theater. Because I had a social media class in the theater, and it was 300 students.
Right.
And the teacher did attendance by clickers, quizzes by clicker.
Right.
And then I had like in my internship towards getting my degree, I had an internship class, a seminar where it was 10 of us, and we had our desk circled and we just talked.
So different. You can go from a class with 200 people to a class with 6 of you. It's just so different, just depending on the class that you're taking and how many people want to take that class.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, you talked about the class sizes, let's talk about the actual work. Do you consider the work harder than high school work, or is it more work, or what's the difference between the high school and college as far as work, and was it what you expected?
Okay, so work in college was hard, but at the same time, it was like, it's not a hard to where you can't get it done. Like, college is supposed to be hard. It's not supposed to be easy.
Right.
That's why when you go to school, it's like the people that go to college, that number is small.
Right.
It's not meant.
Not everybody goes.
Yeah, it's going to be hard, but it's the fact that, are you going to apply yourself more? Like, if the more you apply yourself, the easier it's going to be for you to accept the work and accept the process of college.
Yeah, I know for me, the difference between college and high school is a lot more reading. I know that. I remember getting like, and it was every class. I remember it was a class, she was like, read 20 pages. And I'm like, okay, 20 pages. Then it's, next class is 20 pages, 20 pages. Sometimes you have to read a certain amount of pages. You know, you got to figure it out. You got to time, like you got to time manage.
I had one class where I had to read 3 chapters, and it wasn't like no 10-page chapters. It was like almost 60, 70 pages.
Yeah, and it's a lot of, sometimes a lot of different group work activities, or like group projects, and you gotta, you know, sometimes step out of your box and open up out of your shell, because, you know, in really communicate, because like I was on a basketball team, and sometimes I was partners with somebody that was on a soccer team, or somebody that wasn't in athletics at all, and we all had to figure out a time where we needed to meet where everybody was available. So that taught you like to work with others,
right?
To sacrifice, to do different things like that.
Exactly.
So another thing let's hit on is as far as the degree. You know, some people go in and their degree changes. So let's talk about that a little bit. Talk about how it's, you know, that's okay if you go in thinking one thing and you change your mind on what you want to major in.
It's okay to think about go in with one thing and then you change, because for me, I went in the college based on classes I took in high school. So for example, I walked into college, I want to be a psych major because I love the psychology classes I took in my high school. And then as I got into it, I was thinking, when I get to Dominguez Hills, let me get into chemistry. And then chemistry was just too overwhelming.
Right.
Like, it was like I had to pick one or the other, and it was like I was just in a bowl where I couldn't. So I was just like, let me just pick this healthcare and something in healthcare, because I took a lot of healthcare classes.
Right.
And I came up with community health, and I stuck with it, and I loved it.
Right. I think the thing is, when you go into college, it's fine to know or you know, have an idea of what you want to do. And
just be prepared to have your mind open. That's the big thing. Prepared to have your mind open to learn. Because if you have your mind open to learn, it's like you open yourself to more opportunities. Because if it's like you focused on one thing, it's like you're really closed-minded in a sense where you don't necessarily get to figure yourself out as far as like what you want to do later on in life.
Yeah. So like it's good to go in and know and have an idea of what you want to do, but the classes that you need, you take those classes based on the major that you want to pursue. But with your electives, you should step out of the box a little bit. Like, I took a lot of different classes that had nothing to do with my major, but just so I can, you know, sometimes it changed my mind a little bit. I don't think I want to do this anymore. I want to do this based off this elective I took. It's just to keep an open mind in college. I think that's very important. I think it's important to be responsible with your schoolwork. You know, it's a lot different from high school because there's a lot more freedom in college, in the classroom, in your life in general. Like, you're going from being a person at home with your parents to going away and being on your own and kind of not making your own rules, but having to police yourself. Like, you know, you have to be like, you're the one that makes you do homework. You know, you don't have anybody saying, oh, Sierra, you have to do homework at a certain time. No, you know, I have to do this homework at a certain time, and, you know, I have to plan out my day.
Right.
Because, like, that's a part of college, being disciplined and responsible. I think those are some of the biggest keys of being successful in college. Okay, you guys, so it's the 10-minute mark. So every show we're gonna have something called a water break, where we just take a break from what we're talking about to play a little fun game. And today it's gonna be me versus Simone. We're gonna play which one of us can name, the most NCAA mascots. So like Wolverines, Tar Heels, like that in 30 seconds. So we'll see. So Simone's gonna put her music on so she can't hear me, and she's gonna put the clock on 30 seconds. And I'm gonna go, and we'll see who can name the most colleges.
Okay, here's the music.
So she has her music on, proof that she has the music going, music playing. Okay, now go to the timer so we can get this popping.
But
And you tell me when to go. You tell me when to go.
All right. Ready? Go.
Wolverines, Tar Heels, Spartans, Terrapins, Sun Devils, Ducks, Cougars, Huskies, Trojans, Bruins, Hurricanes, Longhorns, Aggies, Badgers, Irish. Okay, my time is up. I got 17.
You got 17?
17. All right, so now we're going to switch. I'm going to put the headphones in. Simone's going to go.
And you got to change. You want to change the song?
Yeah, let me change the song. I'm not going to. Let me change it.
You got to change it. You can't have the same song playing.
Let me see. Okay. Got my music playing.
Okay.
All right.
I see the vibes.
Let me see. Let me go to the timer real quick. She has 30 seconds and 3. Let me turn this up so I can. 3,
Hey.
2, 1, go.
Trojans, Bruins, Cardinals, Huskies, Bears, Bearcats. I said Huskies, Cougars, Seminoles, Hurricanes, Yellow Jackets, Gamecocks, Volunteers, Wolverines, Spartans, Terrapins, Syracuse Orange.
Time is up. How many did you get?
You got that one. I only have like 12.
Okay.
You got lucky though.
So I won that round
She got lucky.
of the water break. So check out every episode, every topic. We're gonna have a water break for you guys. But now, back to the regularly scheduled program.
Back to
So
it.
we're gonna go to the third thing we were supposed to talk about today, and that's social. So when we talk about social, we're talking about parties, the life outside of athletics, in the football games, just being a college student. Okay, so my expectations going into college were that it's a lot of crazy parties. Just when you watch the movies, it's a lot of crazy parties. So much fun. It's just a lot going on. The football games are fun and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the reality.
Right.
I mean, college was a very fun experience, like party wise and things like that. But what they don't show you in the movies is that you have to, have a balance. Like you can't as a student athlete, let me say that, even as just a regular student
in general.
Yeah, you can't just go to college and party because there's no degree for, socializing and partying. You have to learn how to balance. So that's the thing that I didn't really think about. So just going into college, like when you go to parties and stuff, my thing was I learned how to do this. I learned how to just set a kind of a checklist. Okay, first I have to have all my schoolwork done. I have to, have that planned out.
Mm-hmm.
Then I had to be straight with everything with basketball. I had to, do all my workouts, do good in practice, do all my treatment, everything that comes with basketball at the college level. Then when I was done with that, then it was like, okay, I have my freedom to party. But then the thing is as well, even after you do the checklist, you have to make sure your partying doesn't affect
the playing,
the school, and your sport. Once you realize your plan, your game, and your school is falling off, you need to reevaluate like your partying. Like some people were able to go out and stay out till 3 o'clock in the morning and still get up for 6 o'clock,
Weights.
6 a.m. weights and practice and still ball. Some people had to be in the bed at 12 o'clock or 11 o'clock. It just depends on the person. It's different between every person. But you got to be responsible with it. You got to learn yourself. You got to learn you. And know that, okay, if I go to sleep at 3, I'm going to be trash as the 6 a.m. workout, then, hey, I got to do something about that. I got to come in earlier. Or maybe I can't go to the party the night before I have 6 a.m. workouts. But some people, they can do it. It's just, it's all about, college is about finding yourself and learning yourself, and then being disciplined with it.
Yeah.
I think that's very important. And I talked about parties, but also just going to football games and supporting other sports teams and other events around school was really, really fun. Like, I feel like our sports program was so close and we always supported each other. We were at their games, they were at our games. So, yeah, it was a very good experience. What more do you have to add?
It was similar at Dominion Hills because we didn't have a football team, but we all supported each other. Like, in the fall time, everybody knew, okay, we're going to the soccer. We're going either to see soccer or going to a volleyball game.
Right.
Later, it was us.
And it was fun. That's how you bonded with your own teammates, is going to watch another team.
Yeah,
play.
and then it just shows support. Like, it's nothing like when someone who's going through the same thing as you support you. You don't even got to talk to them. Just showing your face and being there is good enough. Like, that's good support, and it's like respect too.
Right. And just one more thing with the social life, I think that you should go in to, like, if you go into college and you're not really a person that likes to party, don't feel like you have to
pressure.
Yeah, don't feel like you have to be a party animal and be fake. Always stay true to yourself and be true to who you are. Like, you never want to lose yourself because you're trying to fit into a certain crowd. Like, people will respect you more if you just stay true to yourself. If you're like, no, I don't want to party. Oh, see, why you don't want to party? I'm cool. I don't want to party. Like, whatever. You find people that's like, you got to stand your ground and stand true to who you are. And I think that's very important too, because, in college party, it can get crazy. Different things can happen. But if you stay true to yourself and who you are, you'll be fine.
Right.
So let's go to the fourth and final topic today. So the last topic is athletics. So we're going to talk about, like team camaraderie, team chemistry, the playing time, and just everything that goes into being an athlete.
That rounds it up.
Yeah, right. So what were your expectations going in and different things like that, and how did it align or didn't align?
Well, my expectations matched my reality, just for the simple fact that every team I was on, we were all really close. We hung out 75% of the time, 80% of the time, and it like showed on the court. You could tell, like, you could just tell how the bonding off the court affects you on the court.
Right, that's true.
So,
and just team chemistry is very important. I know my teammates, we always did a lot of different things, like made videos, did songs, did little skits. We always found something fun to do, because college, at sometimes it can be so stressful, especially as a student athlete.
Stressful and long, like season. It feel like it's stretched.
Especially as a student athlete, when you have so much going on, which is school and the games and the practices, and sometimes you have bad days. But when you have a team that's so close and has so much fun, like, that helps push you through those bad days. So I think that's very important. Also, let's talk about playing time and just, coming in as a freshman. Like, a lot of people come in expecting to play a lot, and that's great to have confidence in yourself and, to think highly of yourself. Like, we love that about people. But I think the reality is some people don't play as much as they expect. Yeah. And that sometimes, as a freshman, as a 17 or 18-year-old, it's hard to take. Like, back home, I was a baller. I'm the big star. I'm a All-American, whatever. But then I come to this school and I'm only playing 5 minutes a game. Like, some people feel pressure from home, like people at home, like, oh, why you go to that school? You better than that. You have all these people in your ear. But the thing is, you have to
block the noise.
You have to learn how to fit into the system that your coach is running.
Right.
And that's how you're gonna play. Like, if your coach needs a shooter, Like, you got to make sure that if you're a shooter, like that you have to make sure you work out, and every time you're in a game you make almost all your shots. Whatever role that your coach wants you to fit on the team, you have to make sure you are the best at that role. Okay? And then as a freshman, as you get older and older, you get more experience, you learn the system, you learn your coach, you learn your teammates, and you will play more. Like, it's almost promised that you will play more. But I know sometimes it's hard because people have so many people in their ear, especially as young athletes, and you think so highly of yourself. But, I think you should come in to college with an open mind. Like, you should be... We don't want you going to college and thinking this is not possible. I don't want you going and thinking, well, I'm gonna play 30 minutes a game, and like that's like, I love that people are confident, but you have to be open to, like, it's a possibility that I might not, and I might have to fit into this system.
And it's like you got to think of the system as like a coach making the table, and it's like you have to bring. The coach already knows what they want on the table, and it's like you either fit into it or you have to work your way into it.
Right.
It will never be a perfect match every time because everybody's different, but you just have to buy in the system. You have to buy in and invest your time into it.
Right. And that's kind of is easier said than done.
Yeah.
But I think you should surround yourself with a good support system, positive people in your ear, like, your teammates. Whatever teammate you close to, you confide in them. You got to be able to talk to somebody, confide in them so they can help you through the tough times, because sometimes it's tough, especially when you go away and you kind of like by yourself. Sometimes it's tough, and sometimes you need a teammate to lean on.
Or a coach.
Right. Also, just like schoolwork, basketball, you got to, time management is so important. Sometimes you got to practice at 6 o'clock in the morning. But then you got to get a workout before practice, and you got to waste after,
you gotta rap.
And you have to get treatment and all that different stuff. So time management is very important. Prioritizing things, putting things on a list. What's the most important? What's next, and what you need to get done. The quicker you figure out how to discipline yourself, how to be organized, how to manage time, how to be responsible, and how to have a good time responsibly, I think you'll be fine as a student athlete in college. Like, it sounds hard at the beginning, but once you get into the flow, you'll be fine.
It's like routine.
Right.
It's going to be routine.
Right. Because now thinking back on like the days and the long days and the different things we had to do, I'm like, dang, how did I do that? But I was in it, and I just had to go with the flow and learn. That's the best thing about college, is that you're kind of thrown into the fire. You have to learn like this. The quicker you pick up things, the quicker you learn, the better you'll be.
And that's part of maturing and being an adult.
Right, picking things up and just learning from your mistakes, and watching people in front of you and learning. So, okay, guys, that wraps up our topic today. I hope you guys will put up on some game. Tune in next time. We have more information for you guys and more game to kick to you guys. All right, you guys. Thanks.